There's a small Scots pine clump visible from my garden in Easton near Wells in Somerset. These were often noticed by Alfred Watkins and Tony Wedd as frequently occurring on leys. There is an alignment with the church just beyond that clump, through this garden, through a eucalyptus tree which has grown into a spiral shape, to Knowle Hill, which is just visible from this garden. The line then runs across this junction and through the north transept of St Paul's Church. St Paul's was erected in 1843 as a chapel of ease in the parish of St Cuthbert's Out in Wells, through the efforts of the vicar, Reverend H.W. Barnard. It's built of coursed and squared rubble with a slate roof and bellcote in neo-Norman style. It then passes through this junction and up over the Mendips to pass just south of Ebor Gorge to two tumuli on the plateau, after going through this junction with another footpath. In the other direction it runs across the Somerset Levels to Knowle Hill. Coming southwest, the line then runs through Panborough Hill, which was formerly Padenburger and sometimes known as Barrow's Hill. It lies on a ridge currently carrying the road from Wells to Wedmore. It has a singular profile, especially when seen from the levels southwards towards Godney. Alongside the hill is the Bleedney Gap, through which the old river Brew flowed. The levels are blocked westwards of Westhay by sandy ridges, causing the Brew and Mere Pool to drain through Bleedney Gap, falling about 15 feet in the process and necessitating a change of boat. Thus the island was a stopping place on the river, possibly a minor trading place and the first proper viewing place of Glastonbury Tor when sailing from the sea towards Avalon. It was once known for its vineyards. A chapel, thought to be dedicated to St Paddan, a local saint, was located somewhere on the hill. The line then runs across the levels, going through Catcott Bridge, until it reaches Cossington Church. This was built in the 13th century and revised in the 14th and 15th centuries. Victorian restoration was carried out in the 19th century. In 1900 the West Gallery was removed. The dedication to the Virgin Mary was before 1505. Finally the line reaches Bawdrip Church. This was built of blue lias in the late 13th to early 14th century on the site of an early church which had belonged to Athelney Abbey. It underwent Victorian restoration in 1866, and the crossing tower has gargoyles and a parapet. The parish of Bawdrip was formed long before the present church was built. It embraced Bawdrip, the separate hamlets of Bradney, Crandon, Knowle, Ford and Wood. Crandon had been a river port in Roman times, and the southern slopes of the Polden Hills had been a Romano-British arable farm centred on a villa. This was found in the field known as Churchy Breeches, and had corn-drying kilns. The general rise in the water level destroyed the port. In 1681, one of the most tragic of stories reputedly unfolded in Bawdrip. Edward Lovell married Eleanor Bradford, by whom he had two daughters, Eleanor and Mary. Eleanor, the daughter, heiress of the family, honour and estate, died June the 14th, 1681. Her most sorrowing husband mourned her, taken away by a sudden and untimely fate at the very time of her marriage celebration. Wish this monument to be put up. Tradition associates the tragic death of Eleanor Lovell on her wedding day with the woeful ballad The Mistletoe Bough compiled by Thomas Haynes Bailey, son of a Bath solicitor, some time after 1820. He tells of a fair young bride of one Lovell, son of a medieval baron, who, playing hide-and-seek in the revels of her wedding day, hid in an ancient chest. Its spring lock shut firmly behind her, and she was imprisoned and not found for many years. This tragic fate has long been believed to have occurred in the rectory. The line then runs through the middle of Bridgewater, passing just south of Sydenham Manor. The ley dowses at about 12 paces wide, and as it crosses the garden diagonally, that means it more or less fills the whole garden.